What's shaking, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Psybient. And we're going to listen to a tune I used in my most recent Ambient Excursion. Indeed, now that I've started to make the mixes again, I mentioned before, I have a couple hundred of these mixes from the time I ran a weekly radio show on the old internet radio station Pure Radio. It was based out of Amsterdam. But yeah, recently I decided I wanted to start making new mixes in this style again, and indeed there's a number, like a few dozen, that have been blocked by YouTube, and I'm sort of in the process of figuring out which tracks are leading some of them to get blocked, and I'll remove those tracks and upload an abridged version. So eventually, like, all my mixes in this style will be up, but yeah, I decided to start making more of these mixes. And the most recent one I made, Connected with the Cosmos, I still have the tracks on my music computer because, again, I keep all my stuff on a different computer, and then when I prepare to do reactions or when mixes and so on, I move them to my music computer. In any case, the point is, from now on, when I post an Ambient Excursion mix, I'll then, over the next week or so, do reactions to at least a couple of the tracks from the mix. So yeah, we'll start with this one, and this is a track by, and I've never heard his name said out loud, the artist name. I believe his real name is like Louis David. He's a French producer. Suduaya, maybe? Suduaya? I'm guessing Suduaya, but I don't know if that's how you say it. Nevertheless, he's been making Psybient and progressive Psy since the early 2010s. I think 2011 was maybe his first proper album. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, one of his albums in the early days was on Alter, and I think that was a pretty big success. We're going to listen to another of his albums on Alter right now. It's an album called Loveology, and the track specifically we're going to listen to, make sure I have this right. Yeah, it's Mirage on the Desert of Fire. I love the visual poetry of that. I love is it a mirage? Is it, just the wavy look when it's hot and you have an angled view? Is it, is it actually fire? There's an ambiguity to the phrase, but also a very vivid visual reference. So, but yeah, like I said, I was really enjoying putting the most recent Ambient Excursion together, and when I was doing that, this track really caught my attention, along with a couple others, of course. But yeah, let's listen. This is Suduaya, and the tune is Mirage on the Desert of Fire from his album Loveology 2018 on Alter Records. Melodic touches with that big sweeping bass. bit of an Eastern feel. And it feels like folk tribal music mixed with Psybient sonics. There's a nobility to that main. It's like regal, visionary. Some of those tunes were like, I wouldn't really change anything. It unfolds brilliantly. I like the more acidy electric feel of the final third of the tune. Really pushing it at the end there. Yeah, it's a brilliant tune. I love the whole album. You know, again, my plan is to sort of focus on tracks that I've just used in mixes. I have another Ambient Excursion coming. It might even come tomorrow morning along with these reactions. At the very least, it would be the next day. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to hit up a couple tracks from reaction or tracks from my most recent Ambient Excursion mix. But even so, like, you know, once I go through some of these tracks, it's reminding me of the albums or the EPs they come from. It's like, oh man, well, you know, I should talk about this other track on the album. So I may jump around a little bit, but generally speaking, I'd like to coordinate some of the Psybient reactions with Ambient Excursions that I'm now, you know, actively putting together again. After, I mean, I made one in 2020, and there was like one in 2019, and one, I think, in 2018. But between 2011 and 2016, there was like 350 that I made. So, yeah, it's cool to be back on it again. And, you know, now that I'm doing, you know, reactions like this, it feels good to coordinate it. So, in any case, let me know what you think of the tune. I will see you next time. Peace.